that yet.
Yeah, we do. You all set, Chris?
We're all set.
Very good. All right, welcome everybody to the March 13th Fisp meeting. Everyone's present at Pat Crowley and Raj. Approval of minutes, February 13th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
February 20th, 2019.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. February 28th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Senior Center, Tony's not here, so we'll go right to John.
All right, so, maybe I'll use this as a cheat sheet. The project is wrapping up. We started our punch list last week. Unfortunately, it took longer than we wanted, so it's continuing on to this week. I hope to be there earlier today, but I didn't get there, so I'm going to start again tomorrow morning. Finishing the punch list this week. There is nothing preventing he's got his testing and air balance submitted, came in fine, so the HVAC system's working as designed. So there's nothing as far as substantial completion prerequisites that he's lacking, so he's due to substantial completion as soon as we finish the punch list, which I hope will be tomorrow. So if it's acceptable to the board, what I would recommend is typically what we do, and what we did in the police station, is once we have a punch list, we're able to tell the contractor, you are substantially complete with the work. He's got a temporary CO. And with the exception of these items, this punch list work you have to do. And that's standard fare for all projects. And once he has substantial completion, it means that you would take over the project. You would be responsible for the insurance on the land. You would take over the snow plowing. You would own the building, basically. He withdraws. So, and if acceptable, I can do that and date that either Friday or Monday. It's up to you guys. If it makes sense.
So with the outside of the project not being done, we're going to hold quite a bit back.
Yes, we are.
And then, so the inside, other than paint and minor things here and there,
Right.
you have a list
Yeah, I
already?
have a large list. It's not official yet. We had to punch out the interior because you're about to move equipment in there. If you ding the doors and everything else like this, the contractor don't want to point your fingers. So the punch list, the interior will be all punched out. The exterior will not be punched out. We're waiting for a little warmer weather. The site work won't begin until, maybe a couple weeks from now when the weather warms up. We won't be able to get a CO for the project because we won't be able to close out the site work and close out the planning board work. Like it took a year on the police station, right? So hopefully it won't take too long this time. But the final certificate of occupancy won't be achieved until we have all the site work complete, all the site work as-built submitted to planning board and approved. So we have that other process to go through. But that you can still take beneficial occupancy of the building. And that is what Tony and Lisa were planning on, moving in furniture. I'm not sure it was next week or maybe the week after that. We have furniture coming in.
So Nancy, our insurance, are we all set in that except for, what do you need? You need something?
Well, I had gotten a message from Tony, and I went to see the building inspector. The building inspector gave me a copy of the temporary
Good.
and of the punch list, and because Tony asked me to get this on as soon as possible. So I sent everything to the insurance today, so we should be on tomorrow. Is that too soon? Should I hold off until Friday or Monday?
Yeah, you can make this board the committee should decide if you want it dated Friday or Monday. It's up to you guys.
So one question before, and I know some other people have asked this question. I know there was a penalty for, possible penalty if it was more than, February 28th, I think was the
February
date?
28th was the scheduled date of substantial completion.
So, just tell us what,
So you are able to back charge the contractor, I'm not sure it was $500 or $1,000 a calendar day after that date. I do not think you could or should because the whole delay was an issue of rock and foundations and oil soils and things that were beyond the contractor's, he didn't want to hit them, believe me. You own those issues. Those were your rock, your oil, your foundation. He came up with 30 days extension. He could have easily had said the 45 days or something like that. He tried to hit it, he didn't. I don't think that you are out any particular cash outlay because you are losing rent or you're losing any kind of income from that. As a matter of fact, you're not even prepared to move in, and you didn't even have furniture to move in on February 28th. So I don't know that you are, in fairness, had that.
Are we inquiring any expenses from you or from Tony for the delay?
No. Basically, the delay would have been about $9,000 on our part, and we're waiving that because, as I said, we give and take with the project, so,
So if we don't intend to back charge them, for instance,
yes.
what's our motivation to get the transfer done quickly?
Friday versus, well, one is, you
I mean,
can't
they'll be
really
carrying
hang them up.
insurance and whatnot.
Right, no, we're already hanging them up a little bit there. Coulda, shoulda done, finished the punch list last week, I carried it on to this week. I think I'm stretching as far as reasonable. That's why I said Friday, or even, stretch it out to Monday next week. But yeah, you do pick up insurance, you do pick up the utilities to run the building, heat, light, stuff like that. But you can't keep putting it off. If he's done, if he's substantially complete, which he is, he's entitled to it.
Can I ask what kind of a punch list we're talking about? I mean, first you said large, and then you said it wasn't complete.
Right.
So I'm a little concerned. Can you give us
Sure.
some kind of
Well,
idea? Because
A lot of
why
it's
not
paint-
have
A lot of it's
that?
paint, for instance, a lot of it's,
Paint that ran.
If we're not gonna charge back, then why bother having it in the contract,
what?
to the contractor?
Well,
He
if you-
didn't finish on time.
To add to that, we gave him 30 days because of the,
Because originally,
He
it was
asked for 30 days.
but he asked, and we gave it to him.
Yes, and he could have asked for 45.
But then if we were on the 60th day, he would have said, I could have asked for 75.
Right.
And you would have given.
but I
it
just want to say, the original date was January 31st, I believe.
Right.
Was it not?
I
We
I know we
gave
gave
him
him,
extra.
we
Yeah, I
gave
gave
him
him
time.
approximately.
Because of all the issues you
Because of the
mentioned.
rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Which he could have, every time we approved a change order for rock, he could have put days on it. He didn't. He actually tried to get things done in the normal amount of time, the contract amount of time. When it became clear because of that and some other issues with subcontractors that it wasn't, that's when he knew he had to ask us. We could have said that, no, you're not entitled to it because if you want to make a claim for delay, you have to make it within 14 days of the event, and giving you rise to that claim. And, we're all trying to be fair.
Yeah, that's why we gave him the 30 days.
Right.
Right.
So is it per calendar day, per business day?
Per calendar day.
So you're talking nominally 3 weeks at $500 a day, so 10 grand and change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today's 13th, so it would be two.
Does anybody know what the contract says?
Well,
Does
if
it
you said,
say-
if you let it run out till Monday.
But it's either 500 or 1,000.
But no, I'm saying in regards to, you're saying only if you're out something, you can go after it.
Well, the idea of liquidated damages is that you're not trying to penalize the contractor, but you're trying to recoup your costs. That's how legally, you can impose penalties for no real, where the person you haven't really incurred any injury. So your injury would be loss of money. If I were charging you $9,000 for the extra month, then certainly that $9,000 would have been an injury to you and you would have been able to recoup it through liquidated damages. But I don't know that you are incurring any extra costs for this 30-day extension.
If we were waiting to move in and the lease was up or something like that and they had no place to go and we had to rent for an extra month or something like that, I think that's more.
Right. I mean, there's a couple of lawyers out there that'll tell you, just do it, Even if you do it, you'll get something,
But
When
didn't we
do we
already
need to
give?
make a decision on this?
Liquidated damages? I would think you'd want to make a decision before you gave them substantial completion.
So we don't have to do it tonight.
And we
Well-
already have given 30 days, so.
Well, my
I'm
point being,
struggling here.
depending on how some of there's a certain amount of cost and protest right now with this, what do you call it?
The fire retention,
Pump station?
pump
Pump
station.
station.
You know,
That's
Depending
not-
on how that works
Right,
through,
but that's
might
a s-
change my opinion.
Right, but that's a subcontractor, the general contractor has no control over. The money's being sought by, as far as the general contractor is concerned, he's just pass through. So if you penalize the general contractor, he can't pass that on to the guy who you want to talk to.
We held back, didn't we hold back something?
Oh, yeah, we still holding it back. But it's done, we held it back because it wasn't complete the way we wanted it. Now that it's complete the way we wanted it, he's entitled to that money, so he can get it, because you have no other reason to hold it back.
No.
You got what you wanted.
Well, I think Ray's point what he's trying to make is if it's $13,000 are going after us for that, and it's $13,000 for this. Is that what you're trying to say? Kind of wash.
Well, in part, you know, that there's, you're mixing together what we're legally entitled to versus what we're ethically entitled to. And, you know, to me, are there other things that should be on the leverage board?
Sure.
So we have leverage with this until we make a decision. And if there's something we want to use that leverage for, it's just a question, what might that be?
Well, that's not something that has to be done, made tonight, am I correct?
I would
It
also
would be by
suggest-
Monday, if
I'd
we
also
turn it over, if we take over.
Is that true? I don't think that was true.
What's that?
If we take over the building, does that mean we forego any claims about being late? The building being,
I don't think so, but it's.
You'd want to do it before you take over the building, I would think.
Well, from the point of view of you have to take over the building when the contractor meets a certain point. You can't delay it because the law would tell you, now you're causing the contractor
Right.
costs. So when the contractor reaches a certain point of
Which will be Monday.
contract, then could be Friday or Monday, whenever I finish the punch list and issue it. I'm going to tell you this, don't count on an architect for a legal opinion, you know.
I think we should have town council.
So you should get an opinion from town council whether or not this is something that he would choose
A
to
quick
chase.
question to town council, what does
But-
he suggest we do?
but John, your punch list, you're not gonna be done with the punch list, you're just gonna,
Have a list.
No,
you're
I'm
gonna
just-
have,
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna have a list.
Right, I have to quantify what isn't finished, so that when I give him substantial completion, he knows what he needs to finish, basically. This is, you finish all this, and then you'll be done, basically.
And are we talking major things on that list, or?
No, missing ceiling tile, the worst thing is, you know, some of the toilet partition construction, some of the fittings are too high or too low, paint, hold open missing on one of the doors, a scratch on the door, windowsills have paint on them. No, it's not significant, It certainly wouldn't prevent you from occupying the building.
But time consuming on his part?
Um,
We talking like 3 days work, the work maybe, just kind of an estimate, 2 days kind of work?
It's, if the contractors were all there, if the contractors all showed up, they could do the work in a week. But I don't think they'll show up, you know, they'll.
Right, spread it out would be my
So
guess.
several
So-
man weeks of work.
Yeah.
So in that being the case, should we take a vote to take over the building, as long as the town's lawyer okays it,
Can I ask what the benefit is that we're taking it over now versus
so we can move the
when this
furniture?
punch, let's just say the punch list is done?
That punch list.
Again,
could go
I
way
would
over.
say-
That could even go, after we finish that whole punch list, they could walk through again and say, no, some of that stuff wasn't fixed. I mean, we had
Because that
punch
happened
list
on the
items at the
police
police
station.
station.
Right.
It was
Right.
9
But
months.
so
Yeah.
the punch list was issued
Yeah,
at the date of substantial completion.
Right.
With the substantial completion document as part of the two documents go together. And I would say as far as delaying substantial completion for your benefit beyond the point at which the contractor has met the contract requirements for substantial completion leads you into a gray area.
Okay.
I would say basically this list says, okay, we're gonna take over the building.
Yeah.
We can't add to this punch list. We can look at something that's on this list and
Right.
say, it wasn't done correctly, but we can't add to it.
Not to confuse you, but the same issue on the police station. This would become the punch list. When he starts doing the work and starts requisitioning for monies, we'll go through here and decide
Check
what's
it
not
out.
done,
Right.
and then we'll monetize what's not done. And then he won't get all his money until, we'll hold back $250 on a windowsill. He won't get that until the windowsill's done to
Right.
our satisfaction. Other than that, there's what we call a warranty list. You're entitled to find anything goes wrong within a year, maybe more,
Right.
of the area,
Right.
and that's a warranty list. He still has the same responsibilities to do all that work, but you can't monetize it.
Right. So one of the things here is exterior trim and siding is mostly complete. When will that, this is Tony's. So when will it, so I don't want to take, if it's mostly complete, does that mean we're waiting for?
Exterior, yeah, so if you've been there, the columns aren't finished.
Okay, so do we expect those to be complete before we?
That's not on the punch list. My punch list is going to exclude the site, because I can't do the site. It's going to exclude the exterior of the building. And all we're going to say is, when it comes time for him to requisition, the next requisition, I may not have a punch list, so I'm going to hold back $50,000 on the outside of the building, because I know, that's twice, 3 times what it would take to finish what I
understand.
know is missing.
So when would we, if it's not complete, why would we take custody of the building? It's
Well-
not a punch list item.
Well, that's what I was trying to say before, the buildings, the property's not gonna be complete until it's warm weather. You're not gonna,
But this trim, and that can be done.
Yeah.
It's not there.
you can't do
Siding?
it. No, it's not siding, it's the columns. Remember how
They
they
can
were
be- They can do that, though.
there's screws in them, they gotta be filled and painted and stuff.
There's puttying, there's compound that goes on,
You
it's
can't,
temperature sensitive.
you can't do that, it's too
You
cold.
can't paint outside right now either.
So it says mostly complete, so Tony didn't say that that's not gonna be done through the summer.
No, it's
Until
going to be
it's-
done with warm weather permits. So it'll be done in probably the next 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, I would say. When he says mostly complete, realistically, the building is 98% complete on the outside.
But I see his point, because you can't, paint those or do any work on that until you have, a week when it's, 45 and
Yeah,
above?
it's got to stay that way at night, too.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. That's what we're making that assumption. We don't know that.
Don't know.
That's why he's holding this up. Is it because, are
He's
you
holding-
telling us that that's the case?
He's holding it up? I'm sorry.
It's mostly complete. Are you saying it's because?
Weather, yeah.
It's
On
because
the
of
outside,
weather.
yeah, it's absolutely the weather. Temperatures and everything else, absolutely.
I'm curious.
He'd love to have it done and requisition for it and get out of here. That's his plan.
I understand the parking lot, things like
Right.
that. We're not gonna do those till
But
next
the
year.
columns, I know they can't
No,
do
you're
the
gonna do
columns.
those, and those are going to get done in the next
I mean, after.
next month, basically.
Has the building subcommittee gone through the building and looked at it from the standpoint of punch list items?
Yeah, we went through there last Thursday, we walked through with John and everybody like that.
Yeah, blue tape, putting it all over.
I taped off a few areas, but when we left, Nancy was going with you. I mean, Lisa
Yeah.
was going with you, and then
Yeah,
I taped off an area, I think John
Yeah,
looked
like
at
Chris
it.
said, it's
running paint.
it's paint, it's running paint, it's very small, it's nothing like,
Just-
doors are missing or windows are missing or, there's not, no
It's just
trim.
time consuming for the painter to come and
Exactly.
sand it and then
it's
repaint.
it's mostly finishes.
Yeah,
Mostly
yeah,
nicks
absolutely.
and touches on the
Yeah.
finishes.
Absolutely.
So the building mechanicals, all of them are
Oh, yeah.
100%?
Yes.
The
testing
electronic
balance come out
infrastructure
fine.
is tested?
And the fire department signed off on it,
All of
he's good with
fire alarms,
everything.
Sprinklers are all tested, signed off by the fire department, yes.
So they could move in and start using it, and the punch list would be
Yeah,
a workaround,
yeah,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
There was a difficulty with all the doors as of Monday. Do you know if that was fixed?
They were working on replacing a threshold, and we had asked them to
Doors
work.
weren't closing properly.
Doors were closing.
Where was that, do you remember?
Front door at
Yeah.
least, but
Oh,
all the
that,
doors.
we had asked them, I
I
told them,
remember
I
Mark
was
saying-
standing with the contractor, and I put on my punch list to adjust the timing on the automatic doors, because they stayed open too long, creating a wind tunnel. I mean, after the door completely opened, it was about 8 seconds before it began to close, and that was way too long.
That's an easy.
I also got the impression they weren't setting properly.
Okay, well, we do have something in there. If it,
Let me ask you.
I have it on the punch list.
Is that on the punch list?
yes, changing and making the doors operate correctly is on the punch list. I can hold back on that forever.
And with regard to the not making the schedule
Mhm.
and the possibility of penalty, you do realize that if we waive the penalty, we can no longer say that the contractor, the architect, and the OPM brought the project in on schedule.
Right,
We will not be able to say that,
Why not?
because he did.
because they didn't.
Did it?
Yeah.
Right, unless you were to give the contractor another 30-day extension.
And in return for the penalty for missing the schedule, we'd be happy to do that, or think about that.
Listen, I don't think you were honestly hurt by the contractor coming in. You'd love to have the money, but you weren't honestly hurt by it. And you didn't incur any cost. I didn't charge you, Tony's not, I assume Tony's not charging you. And you didn't incur any extra cost. You got an extra month of utilities and insurance. And you weren't ready to move in the first place. So I don't know that, I'd be bothered by the fact that I can't say this project came in on time. It did. But then again, I'm not out there swinging a hammer, so nobody really.
Well, I mean, as far as, I know you're saying that we got a month of heat and electricity, but then again, why, we're not in the building.
Right.
We shouldn't be paying for it.
Right.
So we really didn't get anything. They got it,
No,
they paid for it.
If you had finished on time and
We would've
your furniture was still coming in April, you would have had an empty
If,
building.
that's
Right,
it.
you would have had an
So
empty
I'd
building.
make a motion that we take, what is it, take possession of the building as of
It's an
Monday.
offer substantial completion.
For Monday, but with the condition that town council look at this before Monday, Nancy? And just to see in regards to if we should go after them.
See if it impacts your ability to assess liquidated damages.
I guess I have a different question. I would want to hear from town council. If we accept the building, do we give up the right to be able to recoup those?
That's what I was
So
just saying.
depending on future behavior, if
Would
they
you
treat
change
us.
the
So
motion to
that's my motion.
Yeah, okay.
Nancy, you got that?
If we accept the building, are we able to go after liquidated damages?
Yep.
If we chose to.
And if,
Especially going forward.
And how,
if it
and
didn't
also,
happen.
how long would we have for that? And-
his opinion on everything in regards to
Right.
that, before we take it.
All right, so we got a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So I'll go through the punch list and we'll wait to determine what date, if we give the date to.
And you're doing all your training tomorrow?
Yep.
And how
Training of,
everything works?
HVAC, electrical,
So,
doors.
so we have the new DPW director's gonna be down there for a while tomorrow.
Partial.
Partial,
Partial.
and the director, Lisa will be there, and they will give us all
A
the
video.
books and a video of everything that
Well, they'll take a
happens.
video of it while they're training tomorrow, and then that video will be.
Part of the,
Will be there for your reference
so
later.
if 3 months from now, we wanna say, well, how exactly do we run that pump station?
is there anyone else that could be pulled into that? So, and the DPW director, the relationship with the town going forward is uncertain, right?
Yeah, there is,
So-
John and I were gonna go.
We're gonna go, but it's an all-day thing. I don't
It's
have,
8 to 9 hours.
I don't have 8 to 9 hours.
But is there any other, I mean, do we have a janitor we presume would be involved with that building yet?
They have one custodian, a part-time custodian, but I'm not sure that,
He would not be
No,
involved with this high tech
right.
running. of-
And Ray, don't forget, everything is gonna be warranted for at least a year, so if something does go wrong, we'll have, I don't know who installed the AC system, a Train or somebody like that, I'm sure would come in and fix it, or whoever they use, or,
Yeah, well, obviously, train is.
I don't know what Train is, but whoever.
Yeah.
A company like that.
Pay high prices, but you can enter into
After the 1 year.
a contract for
service
system
contract.
maintenance.
Yeah.
They'll do your filters and stuff like this, which would be very nice, because as it turned out, nobody changed your police filters ever.
We found that out, yeah. That's why we're getting a building facilities person,
Well, let's see,
part-time.
Ray, in regards to your question, there were people involved at the full police station,
Hmm?
town people. I think the chief walked around, an
Yeah.
officer walked around,
Yeah.
and look, with those people, they still didn't change.
Yeah.
So,
Well, necessary but not sufficient.
Right.
Doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
no, I'm just saying, but what's it gonna, I mean, Lisa
Right.
will be there, and we'll have the video, and we'll have all the paperwork.
Well, hopefully we get a little bit of handle on facilities person, so.
Yeah, and we're still looking
Cool.
at that possibility, and some of part-time for work.
Do you have anything else, John?
Back up the schedule, no, other than, there's a requisition and a change order.
Actually, I did have one question about the punch list.
Yep,
So you're generating it.
yep.
Who signs off? Do you sign off, or does the building subcommittee sign off on it?
Well, the building subcommittee has an opportunity to give me any of their comments. I walked around and we collected them, last that's Thursday. If you have any more comments between now and, let's say, Friday, and you want to walk around, that's fine. But yeah, typically,
I'm just,
we offer substantial completion. It's not like, the world changes automatically the next day. It's just that the contractor is now relieved of his responsibility on that site.
no, I understand that. It's just a question, how do we know that all the comments got incorporated? So, you guys had observations?
No, I think
You guys
Tony,
had a copy.
Tony's our guy. We're paying him.
Yeah, he's still there.
He's still involved. He's the guy that, I
But
want.
do you guys look at it before?
Yeah.
We didn't look
Okay,
at those,
you guys-
I can tell you for sure, I didn't look at those 5-6 pages.
No,
So,
no,
let me reframe it. Who signs off on the punch list?
it would have to be John and Tony.
I'm telling you, okay.
They work for us.
Right.
I mean, the contractor's not gonna, it's gonna be,
From my experience, I never took a punch list and brought it back to the committee and said, sign
Right.
this. Someone
oh, go look at every single one,
Because
because I know, yeah.
And even though there's no meeting tomorrow, Tony's gonna be on
Right,
site.
right.
He said at 9 o'clock, so.
And those guys would know more what's wrong than we would, obviously. But what
There
happened,
was some issues that at
Yeah,
the last meeting we fixed.
we saw, yeah.
We agreed
Like
to
there's
make some
there's a
fixes.
rug and floor change over there and stuff like that.
And
The
that,
grommet,
did that thing get moved,
The
or
grommet,
the grommet.
that drain?
the drain.
Yeah, well, actually, Mark says they're gonna fix the cabinet, and they're gonna take the piece of flooring and cover the corner of that, so that when you look at it from the outside, from the,
You don't see that?
you don't see anything, you don't see the white or anything.
Okay.
So, we agreed that was the best resolve.
All right,
So there's a requisition and a change order, so,
so the first one's the approval from Carroll and Benefit Associates, Mo?
I didn't see a backup invoice here.
I didn't have anything, I put it there, I thought,
Oh,
I listed
okay.
everything,
So we didn't send one in, I guess.
I
So-
thought it was forthcoming, but I never received it.
All
All
right,
right.
so we don't have to pay that one. RAC Builders, payment number 11 for $83,950.
Yeah, that's requisition, that should be in there, requisition number 11 or something?
Yeah,
Or is it-
11.
It's 15 pages or something.
Yeah, requisition number 11, it's been reviewed by Tony and I, we made adjustments, knocked them down, and as we do every month, and this is the revised and approved amount on behalf of the architect and the OPM.
And you know what that leaves us with?
Yeah, it leaves us with 416,000. It's the bottom line right there.
And how does that break out as far as what that is intended to pay for? So we got the exterior work
Yeah,
of the building, we got the landscaping,
the site work,
Paving.
asphalt, that's a chunk of the change. Grass and landscaping, and 5% retainage of the whole project. So that's, you have 5%.
and 5% of the whole project.
Right.
Paving's gotta be a big deal over there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
So most of this is the 5% retainage.
I would say so.
And so the balance of whatever, 175K?
I could probably tell
Something
you.
like that?
The balance without retainage, does it have on the bottom line here? 198, so 200,000 in cost and about $200,000 in retainage. That's how it breaks down.
Your confidence that that will more than cover the remaining work is extremely high?
Gonna go way out, but yeah, it'll cover everything. Plus, he's bonded, just to say that, should anything else happen, he's got a bond on him.
So moved.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Collier, he didn't give us the bill either? Okay.
See it.
Well,
Because
he's,
he's probably in the month where we ran
right,
out.
okay, so he'll get paid, that's good. All right, change order number 7 for $2,642.
Okay, there's two items on this. One is additional sprinkler heads. So, to explain this, up in there's like a mezzanine over the kitchen, and that's where we put all the HVAC equipment and everything, get it off the floor so you'd have more valuable floor space. Kind of cramped in some areas, trying to design it and keep it as cost-effective as possible. They had this very large duct head across the room. They had two sprinkler heads covering that duct, but the way the contractor had to build it with offsets and other things coming through, he had to put the duct in a slightly different position, and as a result of that position, we now had to cover the top of it with two heads, but also the bottom of it with two heads. So we had to add two heads to the mechanical electrical space. We didn't know this was necessary until it was actually physically built. And that was $1,700 basically. Relocate light fixture was a goof, basically. We have light fixtures hanging in the great room, and we have an operable partition that pulls out and separates the room. And the way the doors are, the lights are, they're far enough away so they're not near the door when the door is in the open position. But to get the door into the open position, you have to take these 4-foot panels out perpendicular to the direction you're going to finally be in. And that came within 4 inches of a light fixture. Actually, you could do it without hitting the light fixture, but if you weren't careful, you could hit the light fixture. So to make it idiot-proof, we took all 4 fixtures and moved them about 8 inches away. And that cost $900. We talked the contractor down from like $1,500 down to $900.
Well, yeah, it's not to make it idiot-proof.
Right.
If you fold them, which everybody would do,
Right.
and slit them, you'd hit every one of the lights.
Right, but
But if
normally,
you slid it down very carefully,
Right.
and then folded it right at the last light,
right.
which not even, I wouldn't even call that personality.
Normally, they wouldn't tell you to turn them 45 and go 45 the whole way because you are adding torque to the track up there. Much better to bring them out parallel with the track. That's the way you
Go
should.
right past that.
And we even put a sign up there that says, don't stack your partitions over there, right?
On the other side, but if you bring them this way, yeah.
I don't understand.
And, you know, at first I was, the subcommittee, I said, no, we shouldn't be paying this.
I goofed, it was on me, I goofed.
But after, I was worried that it wasn't gonna look good, moving some, in a big picture, that it doesn't look bad, it was only 8 inches. Shouldn't have happened, but
We
it
got it for
did,
half price.
and we got it for less, so.
Okay. But I'm prepared to talk about change orders and how much money that cost you.
Well, thank you, so now I want the 920 back, because he wants to talk about those.
I want the 9,000 for less
But
money.
it's already done, you can't do that now.
But that's what I mean, we have paid more into it than
Yeah, I
it
think
cost you.
Phil
Way more.
brought up a good point in regards to that, that we can't use that. Last time, I think, Phil, you said, we can't use that. But, at first I was more concerned that I thought, well, to make it look right, all the lights should be moved and fixed. But when you look at that 8 inches, it's not noticeable.
They moved all, those 4.
Those
No,
4.
I'm saying if it threw off, because I'm sure they were all so many inches apart in your design, I'm
Oh, no,
sure.
You would never see that.
Yeah, but if you moved them a foot or a foot and a half, you would have noticed
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
But 8 inches, you don't notice it.
Mhm.
So,
All right,
so moved.
anybody second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I did have one question. The additional sprinkler heads, how was it identified?
How was it identified? The mechanical engineer went up, make his final inspection, and noticed there was an area there that didn't have proper sprinkler coverage. He brought it to our attention, we asked the contractor how much would it cost for 2. In the meantime, the fire chief was aware and went out and looked at it, and he concurred that, this was an area that needed those heads. I could have tried to put it on the contractor for coordination, but it's really a long shot. I could have put the light fixture on the contractor for coordination, but it would have been a long shot.
So between Coswell's and the other AIA? No,
Lights,
that's,
It was 2,600 for both.
yeah,
Cogswell
between the
Energy
two.
Energy Electric.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
Yeah,
to move 4,
4 lights and there's two sprinkler heads.
2 sprinkler
Add
heads,
those
okay,
two guys. So it's not 2,600.
okay.
All right, got a motion second, any
Wait, I'm
discussion?
so RAC, so it's RAC, the 1722, I think.
Yeah, but
then you get- then you
but
get-
all that
That's-
money's going to basically Energy Electric.
No, it's going to
Cos-
Coswell.
I'm sorry, Cogswell, sorry.
Coswell. And then,
There's another one from RAC, because he's the GC. He puts 10% on top of the Energy Electric to remove the lights.
Okay, and then the bill is 1,741 here, but it's 1,841 knockdown, split two ways, 920, so that's one.
Right.
It's okay. I'm all set.
I have no idea what we're just talking about. How does that relate to this?
He was just talking
These
about.
bills,
It's the
these
same-
bills, if you look
the
at the
same two
bills,
bills.
it's a way.
That's what I was
Agreed
trying to do.
Here's one of the bills, it says 1,700 for the electrical company, but this is what we're paying, the 920.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, the bill, there's a lot of extra bills here, but all we're paying are those two amounts.
Right.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Dell invoice number 103-00210-696 for $1,695.75. Are we all set on that? Is that the right, did you get the right invoice number with the right, what we got?
Yes. But if you read these emails,
I know, it's very confusing.
I just tried to piece it together. I can't speak to any of this because.
You weren't involved in it.
When they put the purchase order in, they used estimates. I don't know how you do a purchase order with estimates. I don't know, the next to the last page.
Is this the whole computer thing
See,
again?
if you look at this CM Geeks, is right here,
Right.
it says $1,210,
Right,
and then he says Dell changed, or they couldn't make the computer anymore, they changed computers, right, Nancy? Something like that?
Something like that, but it actually,
Computer prices always go down.
Well, I have no idea how this happened. If you guys read all the emails,
well, I don't, I
Gets
gotta
real
go with
confusing.
Nancy, how do you do estimates on a purchase order?
I wasn't involved in it. I don't
Okay.
know what to tell
this
you.
was when Anita was here.
Yeah.
This came
So
through.
who actually placed the order?
Sounds like Anita did,
Anita did with
with
Lisa.
Lisa. That's like the second to,
They placed the orders with Dell directly,
No, to CM Geeks.
CM Geeks.
Who's our
computer.
IT.
people.
IT guys? For the town, not for the project, for the town.
Did they actually place an order, or did they just authorize CM Geeks to buy something?
I have no idea.
That's probably it.
I don't feel like I can vote on something where I don't understand what it is that we're voting on.
No one can, we've been going back.
The actual
We've been talking
order
about these for a month.
is less than the estimates. He actually saved a little money, because we had that conversation today. We were dealing with something else, and he said, did my invoice get approved? And I said, well, no, that's a nice discussion. And I said, it's very difficult because they're not matching up. And he said, well, I was able to save you a little bit of money. I said, I understand that, but it still doesn't, it's not clear.
So it looks like they got a different computer for different computers, more than one, for less money. Is what, as I'm kind of trying to follow these emails. And it was a purchase order, but it probably was just approval to his company to order them. Because they've been installed, correct?
I gotta tell you, I've never seen a PO with, they had to have had an estimate, because usually the PO relates to the estimate.
That they're given.
Yes.
I think there's something we should put off till we get some clarification, because I don't know how anybody can vote on this without.
Well, first, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Because I just did the
It says it's
estimates with town hall. We were on our
Computer thing.
computer. I
Yeah.
just ordered like $15,000 worth, but everything is per the spec. I had 3 different line items. I've got 2 of them in, invoices came in, they matched perfectly, and I just have 1 more, so I don't,
Is this through CM Geeks, or did you do it directly?
I sent it through CMB.
So this says it's 1695.75, but everything circled is 1738.
Right.
Correct.
So those,
So you
Those numbers
saved
don't-
about, what, $40?
But none of them are computers.
These are a switch, what is that?
it says,
Network, yeah.
Network.
it
Oh.
says here, this is an active network switch that creates the network. All line offices will go back to this switch, and the fiber to town hall connects to the switch.
I think we need more explanation.
I would like to get something from him saying, I don't know, how,
So, I guess, what was his total price when he told us?
I think what he's saying here, the 17, is basically, he saved you a lot of money, because it's actually costing $16.95 instead of the 17.
right.
That's the $40 he said?
That's the $4.
Oh, I thought it was so substantial.
No.
No, but I think what Nancy's saying is, why isn't there a purchase order with the invoice?
Because it looks to me as though they just, in here it says they used estimates.
Can we get a copy of the invoice that supposedly was sent from Anita?
Or who paid it? No,
It
I mean,
says
who got the, who does?
Anita wanted to get the purchase order done before she left, so we
Purchase
used,
order's in here.
which,
The purchase order's right here.
is that her signature?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay,
So that includes this thing, though?
right, isn't that,
Yeah, 13.19, yeah.
That includes it, though. That's why I'm saying, why is it an add-on? It's $13.19. I guess the only thing, it would drop that $13.19, $40 lower.
Right.
But we already paid that,
That's what
didn't we?
Anita agreed to, the $13,019,
Right. which
and
is
we're
right there.
$40 less.
Correct.
So,
and we didn't, I thought we voted on paying on,
I thought we paid the
Those-
$13,000 a while ago.
Yeah.
you think we paid the 15?
The 13,000.
13,
Didn't we pay that?
because we had the discussion on the computers.
Oh, you don't have Tony's breakdown, does it?
Yeah, I don't know, no, I don't. I'm not really big for Tony.
Because that would tell us if we paid it.
I thought 1 or 2 meetings ago, we had this discussion, we paid the $13,000.
I don't remember that. We paid what, was it in minutes?
It's my recollection as well.
I'm looking at, so marking. So not on that meeting, we did that. These 3 minutes here don't say we paid CMP.
Can we put this off and find out what we did pay him? You know,
It may have been before these meetings.
Yeah.
It seems like we've been talking about
But I do
this
remember
for a while.
that coming up, and I do remember the amount of $13,000 something dollars that we,
Maybe we just agreed to that was gonna be the price, but I don't know what we did.
Well, this wasn't placed until January 3rd.
Or maybe we agreed to move forward with that estimate. I don't know.
I think if somebody said it's an estimate, we would probably have questioned it.
Well, Anita signed off on it.
Well,
Telling this.
we'll talk to Tony and figure out,
Get
find out
a
what's
readout.
going on, and we'll put it on the next meeting.
It was-
I don't think $1,600 will break them, or 17 or whatever it is.
But I'm having trouble resolving the 1695 itself, because either we paid the 13,000, or we didn't pay the 13,000, this would have been a subset of that.
So it should have been, it would have been 14,600, right? Is that what you?
That's what we're
That's what I'm
starting.
saying. So I think we already, this should have been included in the $13,000. My understanding.
That's my understanding as well.
Okay.
So
We'll have to
it would
figure
seem
it
that
out.
it's already been approved. If the price went down, I don't think we need to approve taking a lower
No.
price.
No.
So we need to find out what we paid
We
and
need
what
to
we
find out what
paid
we paid
for.
in, exactly. And that was part of the original,
Tony should have all this.
and that's part of the original purchase order, so that should have been included in it.
I have no problem.
All right, we'll talk about it at the next meeting. Anybody, any other, thing else?
In general, or
In general, yeah.
curious to hear where the fundraising situation's at. I know 2 meetings ago, the selectmen wanted to review the letter that the seniors were sending out. I'm curious where that's at.
As far as I know, I've never seen a letter.
Nancy
Yeah, Nancy sent it. Did you send it just to me or everybody?
You asked to see what it looked
Yeah.
like.
And you did send it to
I
me.
did, it was a letter that shouldn't have been sent out.
It was poorly written.
Well, and aside from that, the arm of the fundraising is the Friends, it's not the Council on Aging.
Right.
So
So it stopped. There is,
They
my,
never got anything anyway. My understanding is they didn't get anything.
Oh, that was that one? Okay.
I spoke with the Theo, the grant writer, because I'm preparing a grant report, and he said nobody has approached him in over a year to look at a grant. So,
So in essence, there really has not been any fundraising from what I'm understanding, is that correct?
I think that's.
I'm not aware of
I think
anything, but I
that's
haven't
the-
been involved in
I
it.
think that's what they've told us, that they're not.
Well, they said they weren't gonna do fundraising, and then they came and told us about this letter they sent down for fundraising.
That was at the last, yeah, you're right, but I think it was sent out, it should have been sent out, is that what I'm
A
understanding?
town organization
It's-
can't fundraise.
right, the Council on Aging.
The fund- the friendship.
Friends
And the
can
wording of it
fundraise,
was a
but not
little
The Council on
Okay.
Aging.
Okay.
From
So-
what I saw.
So I guess really the short answer is nothing's been done.
Do the selectmen get minutes from the COA?
It should be published, the whole town should get it.
Because the COA voted last August or September, right, not to raise money from local sources.
Phil mentioned that a while ago.
And at that point, right, I said, I'm not gonna be involved with this anymore because that's not what I understood and that's not what we told town meeting. And so I sort of withdrew, and I don't know what's happened since, except for this one letter that went out, right? And the Friends were concerned to angry about it, rightfully, because they are the only people involved with seniors in town who are supposed to be fundraising. They're a 501c3 organization.
I think it's safe to say that there hasn't been any fundraising for this.
Okay,
Contrary to what we said at town meeting.
contrary to what they said at town meeting.
Right, from what, what they said they
It
were
was
going to
reported
do.
to us,
Yeah.
correct.
And that got included in the presentations that they
Yeah.
signed off on.
100%, and I've said it,
They didn't come through with it.
they didn't do it. They talked about it, they talked about having an event at one of the, the manor or the, what you said, and have silent auctions and everything, none of that happened.
And
And I
then-
don't even know if they ever
That
been.
all stopped, that all stopped September
Yeah,
last year,
correct.
right? Because that's what I was doing.
And they had a consultant come in to tell them they shouldn't be doing this.
I don't know if they had a consultant or not.
No, they
From
spoke to.
time to time, Tom Bartholomew comes in and talks to him about fundraising. But he's not a fundraiser, so he's not a consultant.
But I don't know if they've even ever did any brick walkway, I don't know if they.
Because they had talked about that,
Yeah, all that stuff
Selling
could
the
still
bricks.
happen for,
Future.
future.
for running the property or having events and.
But it's not gonna do anything towards the building itself.
Yeah, as I remember, the comment was they weren't gonna start anything until after the building was completed.
Yeah.
So I would ask, we hear what the plans are now that the building is almost completed.
Okay. One other thing that the Council on Aging wants to, and I don't know if I can, something that we got an email about, they want to have the open house. Is it okay to talk about now, or do we have to schedule for next meeting?
We didn't have it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Um,
An open house or a grand opening?
I'm sorry,
Grand
Grand
opening. A ribbon cutting.
Ribbon cutting.
Can you discuss without taking any votes?
Well, what's the question? They
Well,
said a
what
date.
happened was the email was supposed to be sent to, get sent to the email did not go through correctly. Am I right, Nancy?
My understanding is, because Janice said, we told the Board of Selectmen earlier, and I said, I don't remember seeing that, could you resend, because I'm on that email chain, and she said, oh, I just realized I sent it twice and I sent it wrong, but she resent it.
Okay.
So do they think they have a date?
They have a date of May 4th. I believe it's May 4th.
Do we believe it's going to look all nice and pretty by May 4th? As far as the
Yeah.
exterior?
The outside of the building,
Yeah.
you think the outside of the building will be done?
Oh, yeah, so the outside of the building.
I mean, the,
Paving?
Landscape?
Yeah, I do think, unless we end up with 4 consecutive blizzards.
Don't say that.
okay.
No,
Yeah,
I,
it's a good sick day.
May 4th is a Saturday.
It's from 1 to 3. can we put it on the, or we have to put it on the next agenda to take a vote? Is that what we have to do?
No, we should have them, I mean, who's putting it together, who's running the,
Who's
are we
promoting it?
doing
Just
it,
the
are they
update.
doing it? We, you know, I guess we can invite them to our next meeting and we can
Okay,
See what the plans
figure
are.
the program, figure the schedule, figure what we're gonna do, since it's really not gonna be
will
much.
will that give us enough time, it'll give us 15, 20 days?
The email said they were looking at a caterer, I thought.
A caterer?
All right, so let's invite him to the next Fisp meeting.
Very good.
So,
Should have it on Sunday, Cinco de Mayo.
so if that, the
It's not
next
open
meeting
on
would be the
Sunday.
10th?
The 10th of April.
Yeah. that'd be good.
They'll give us a month, almost a
A little
month.
less than a month.
Yeah, that's good.
So we can invite them.
And we can ask them to, what they are planning on doing and what help they need, or if they're gonna take care of everything, or what we need to do.
How'd we do the police station?
We
It
did
was
that,
joint
so,
efforts. It was us.
Yeah.
Dennis was late.
no,
Yeah. It was us and
Yeah.
the ribbon cutting.
all right. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.